Sports. When you're leaving it all on the field. Sports. You like your team's chances. Sports. To survive and advance in sports. For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8. Yeah. Sports Channel 8. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Sports Channel 8, the streaming show, coming at you on a Monday morning. The Weather Moose, Josh Goodson, Ben Swain in the house. Can I hit Swain with a, you okay, Swain?
Yeah, I'm doing a little work over here.
Are you okay with everybody leaving?
I was, I'm looking at the transfer portal on a different computer. So.
The decision to declare for early entry NBA draft has passed. The NFL draft is upon us. I don't know if we even care on that one. And the Canes might be riding a young, inexperienced goalie with a fantastic nickname into the playoffs. It is Sports Channel 8. Let's start right there with the Hurricanes.
They've never won a Stanley Cup without a rookie goalie. So
I mean, the signs are good. The best part is everybody was worried about how to say his first name. Is it Peter? Is it Piotr?
Yeah.
We found out it does not matter because Seth Jarvis stepped to the first of all in his rookie appearance, his first game, his debut appearance, looked like it wasn't going to be a win. He got down 2-0. Consensus seemed to be the first goal wasn't his fault at all. Second goal, I'm not sure. Josh Goodson will tell you all goals are luck, so they weren't really his fault.
They are.
But then the Canes came storming back for the young guy, got the win in OT, and then Seth Jarvis called him Coochie in the post game, and that was it. We don't care how to say Piotr or Peter. It's Coochie. His name is Coochie. We get to say Coochie over and over again, and it's fine because that's the dude's name. That's what they're calling him. That's what the hockey gods have deemed his nickname to be. Swain, is this the greatest hockey nickname you've heard yet?
It's up there. It's definitely up there.
Can I say, is it fair to say mostly to me, hockey nicknames are kind of lame? It might be the whiteness of the sport, but it's all just like that Boston bro-y, take whatever your name is and add E to it at the end, right? Not like, a nickname that's actually, I can't think of a great one off the top of my head, but like, I don't know, what are some like old school football or NBA
NBA has the best nicknames of all time because they've got like Puppy Head Jones,
yes,
and stuff like that.
Dr. J, like
it's not a like I'm calling you this for short, right?
Right.
Hockey is very much you either add an IE or Y or an ER at the end of your name. And that's typically what it is.
You're going to be my expert on this. What is the closest guess as to actually how to say his name? Is it Fyodor Kuchnikov?
No, not even close.
Dang.
Not even close.
How do you say his name?
I wish I could remember how Goodson said Svechnikov. Svechnikov. That's what it was. Svechnikov. No, it is Piotr.
Piotr?
And it's Kachetkov, something like that. I don't know his last name.
Kuchi.
So it means luck.
Yeah.
Piotr Coochie. You just struck a nerve. I had to look up the goalie stats.
Yeah.
The top 10 goalies this year who've been in 50 games or more.
Okay.
The difference in their save percentage, and it's done in like point, and it starts 9.36. So if we want to play the game of out of 1,000 shots,
they saved 93 of them. Yeah.
Whatever. The first guy is 0.936, so he would have stopped 936 out of 1,000.
Sure.
The 10th place guy would have stopped 912. It's 24 goals over 1,000 shots. Like it is ridiculous. There's nothing different from the best guy to the worst guy. Like the guy the Canes have now, they could win the Stanley Cup because it doesn't matter with another goalie in.
So
that's the end.
No, I think Canes, and because then Coochie came back on the ice when Ranta got hurt. The whole reason he got called up was because Anderson, who's been great this year, he's been having all the good luck. I mean, in Goodson's terms, he's hurt, and we don't know how bad it is. Now Ranta went out during the game. Game was tied, I think, going into the third period. Canes end up winning over the Islanders. And now, what's our magic number? Do we need 1 point to clinch this thing in our last 2 games, or do we need 2 points?
Well, the next game's against the Rangers, so I think if we beat the Rangers, then we clinch.
And so, but I think we could lose that game, and as long as we still scratch it, I think even a point out of our last game, I think we might clinch the division. So, but yes, to Goodson's point, no one seems to be panicking because the kid has come in and got technically 2 wins, and because we've seen Cam Ward do it before, and because all goals are luck.
And we got David Ayers in the system. Goodson brought up a good point yesterday in our Slack, which is if David Ayers is so freaking good, then why haven't the Canes signed him full time?
Or anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
All these guys, we've cycled through. How many goalies have we seen in the last 2 years? Like 6 or something? And we haven't even tried David Ayers? Come on. We got to at least give the guy a shot. He pitched a shutout the last time.
So they've had 5 goalies this year.
Yeah, and at least 3 last year, right? Yeah. Canes. I had one other Canes question.
When did the playoffs start, Swain? I need to know. I need to go ahead and line up, not
child
care because it's not
next week.
I'm not bringing my wife or anything like that, but
yeah,
I need to line up like an extra babysitter or my mom to come sit. Could it start as early as next Monday?
Yeah, next Monday. It can't start Monday, I don't think.
I think it's May 2nd is the first day.
So that's Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Potentially, but the Canes could not.
Yeah,
playoffs start May 2nd, but we won't know exactly when the Canes play until.
But yeah, no, it's a good point because I need to get hamburger meat. Start checking the weather, Moose. You need to start fixing the weather for us so that we can.
Yeah, we get rid of the hot. Yesterday, today can't have that next week.
Goodson blows straight past the rain, the thing that actually ruins tailgates, and he gets greedy with the no, not too hot. I'll take the no rain, but yes, a nice cloud cover in 73 would be awesome. We feel good about Jarvis. Has been fun to watch the past, I don't know, a little bit at the stretch. He seems like he might be. My only thing now is all our dudes are good and they're all young, and I'm like, there's no way you can keep all these guys for 5 or 6 years, even the way you have to sign dudes, right?
I mean,
I don't know. Not with NIL now.
Yeah, NIL.
You can hang on to guys pretty good.
I'll keep all the guys. Yeah.
They've called up. Don Waddell has called up Bubba Cunningham and Hubert Davis to figure out how to keep guys going anywhere.
That's an easy transition over to final decisions had to be made, and they were made. I guess we're going as expected. No surprises yesterday, correct? Griffin and Keels from Duke.
I mean, none of them are surprises, right? Like, if you'd asked me a month ago who's going to go and who's going to stay,
yes, 100%.
I would have answered that, right? Like, there's no surprise here at all.
Yes.
Like, Leaky Black put out a video announcing that he was coming back.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're not one of the top 50 players on the NBA draft board and you put out a video, you should lose a year of eligibility just for that. You should forfeit your eligibility for putting out a "I'm coming back" video if you are not on any mock draft at any point in your entire life.
Let the kids have fun, Swain. Why can't they just let them make their videos and declare they come back? All right, Goodson, I see you saying, can you have redemption twice? It's different dudes, right? Which redemption are you talking about? I will say, I saw you tweet, how are they going to spend this into redemption and house money? Nobody's claiming house money next year.
But they were a month ago. That was my whole effing point a month ago in the damn tournament. Let me ask you this. If Georgia Tech was returning everybody from their team,
right,
what would the conversation be? Oh, they sucked last year. Who cares? They're going to suck again this year.
Right.
If Clemson did it, if Duke did it, what are they going to say? Duke's going to be the best team in the country.
Right.
You can't return everybody who was good and try to play this underdog story, this house money BS, the crap that we were thrown in our face 4 weeks ago, and then everybody come back and automatically say, I don't know how to get hype about basketball. It's 8 months away, or We're probably going to be number one in the country. I've never been this hyped before. Like UNC fans hated this team a month ago.
6 weeks. 6 weeks ago.
They weren't good then until the
players were good. The talent was always there. The players were always there. It was a them issue more than anything else. It wasn't a lack of talent. And now that they're all coming back, it's like, this is the best team we've had in years. And I'm like, you had that same team in January or February. You just didn't realize it because you're a bunch of idiots.
Well, I'll say this: if they lose,
you cannot be house money. You cannot claim an underdog house money thing 6 weeks ago. Do what you did, play well like you did, win the games that you did, and still claim that and say it's okay that we lost to Kansas, and then also try to be like next year we're the favorites and puff your chest out. Doesn't work like that.
Why
it's
not?
one or the other.
Why not? It was house money.
Because it's disingenuous to even claim you were the underdog before. They're suddenly now the same guys that that fans hated, the same team that they hated 6 weeks ago.
Definitely fans should be raked over the coals if they were like fire Hubert or.
Well, they were. That was like literally the entire fan base. Like, Caleb. Oh, here we go. The best one. The best one was here's Caleb Love. We don't know what he's gonna do, but if he shoots a three or he might shoot 50 threes, we don't know. Like he might make some, he might not. Now it's like, oh my God, Caleb Love's back. Like I don't know how anybody's gonna stop us. This is impossible. Like it's just it's insane how 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever, everyone hated this team and they're like, this isn't Carolina basketball, and now it's Carolina basketball because they're all coming back and they're.
How about is this fair? The dude that I railed against, like in my group text when I'm like, get him off the floor, has been Leaky Black. And am I okay to stand by that and be like, I didn't want him on the floor, and I think they would have been better without him, and I'm still not happy he's back. I think the dudes behind him are better, and they need to play those dudes more. Is that okay?
I actually do think it's okay because no one thinks Leaky Black is like an NBA level talent like the other guys.
I think you.
Leaky Black does evidently. Whoever spent their time editing a video evidently does.
I think he's a great.
I'm just mad of how the UNC fans tried to create this narrative back in the tournament of we are the underdogs. We shouldn't be here. This is shocking. And I'm like, no, you're UNC basketball, right? You are UNC basketball. Duke fans would never have done that. Kentucky fans would have never done that. Kansas, named the team. They would have never acted like that. They would have been like, no, we probably sucked a while ago. Like we weren't playing, they were playing this we are underdog mentality as if they had no shot to beat Duke or Baylor. And it's like, you actually just beat Duke and Cameron Indoor in K's last game. Like, maybe you're good. You
don't make terrible points. I can't specifically think of Duke doing it. I do feel like there are a couple Kentucky teams that sucked in the regular season and then made an Elite Eight run, and they're like, oh, man, this has been one of the most fun teams to play.
I don't follow Kentucky world like I'm not immersed in it, but I don't feel like Kentucky fans are like showing up to a Final Four being like, who said we were going to be here? This is just incredible.
I think I can trace a Matt Jones Harrison Twins year where they like underachieved and then got hot in the tournament, and he was like, this has been one of the most fun rides and whatever. But I don't think you don't make terrible points. You're not totally wrong. But are you sure you're not just mad that UNC is going to win the title next year?
And they might. They might. I don't even mess around in like a sport like college basketball anymore. The money's in college.
I love it.
The money's in college football, anyways. I mean, if you're an athletic program and you're not putting all your chips and all of your resources and all of your NIL collected into football, which actually makes real money and is actually worth anything, then you've just kind of you're falling behind.
I mean that's the you and Jim Phillips, handshake meme or arm wrestling meme, whatever it is.
Yeah. Speaking of college football, Goodson, if only we had an example of a UNC team that brought everybody back and was going to win every game the next year and win the national championship. If only we had an example to point to of, then maybe we could not go down that road. But
Goodson, did you go watch Caleb Love's video?
No.
I think you're lying. I think you did, and you saw. I told Goodson that there's a part of there where Caleb.
No, I didn't watch it.
The NC State guys are coming back for football. We want to do the same in basketball. I was hoping I could.
I will say this, Perm, and this one makes me laugh. And like you and I grew up in the Triangle area, right? And so like we were part of the same conversations back when we were kids. When Dean Smith and his legendary career was only winning 2 championships, right? It was always what's the point of college basketball? The point of college basketball is to prepare guys for the NBA. Like, you go to school to get a job, you go to college basketball to be able to play in the NBA. And now it's Duke is putting like 90% of the NBA with Duke, right? Like you can't turn on an NBA game without like 5-on-5 Duke on the court right now. And it's, what have they done? What have they done with that NBA talent? It's just funny to see like Goodson's talking about the goalpost moving within 6 weeks. The goalpost moving over the course of 20, 30 years is hilarious to me as well.
No, you're not crazy in that. I
think, you don't need to validate it, man. I know I'm right.
I just don't have anything creative.
Yeah, I know you don't, because you know that I'm right, and you were probably a ringleader back then of you got to put guys in the NBA.
I think I genuinely am like a root for the team to win the game that they're playing or the tournament they're in, and I don't get too caught up in.
I'm giving you a hard time.
No, I know. But same with like the other teams I pull for. Or speaking of which, you've got the Carolina Panthers noted in your name there.
What do they need? I haven't followed it. I watched zero Panthers games last year. I mean, what's fill me in? They're pretty young, okay on defense, right? That's
I'll fill you in with a quick anecdote of something that happened last week.
Like literally, I watched zero Panthers games last year, so I have no clue what they are.
So there are all these rumors about Baker Mayfield coming to Carolina, right? And somebody put on like Schefter or whoever, one of the big NFL guys, put on Instagram that the Carolina Panthers were expected to lead to get Baker Mayfield. And Robbie Anderson, who's a wide receiver for the Panthers, responded to that. And it was like, no, or, something like very much against it. And the reason I'm telling this is I can't tell you who I would care less about if they left. Baker Mayfield not coming or Robbie Anderson leaving. Like both of them, I don't care if either one of them are right. I don't care if either one of them are on the team next year. The Panthers literally need everything at every position. They suck ass. Their coach sucks ass. Their owner sucks ass. They can't even build a damn training complex without, sucking at that too. It's just it's the worst professional franchise that I can think of, and I hate them so much.
The indicators that I've been using is like almost literally anytime anybody has talked about the Panthers in the last 2 months, it's been something bad. Like it's been somebody said something stupid. The offensive coordinator said Sam Darnold's going to be our starter, and then literally he goes, Rick James. You got Rick James and Chappelle's show. Like he says one thing and then immediately is like, "Oh no, he's not going to be our starter." Like he goes, "He's going to be our starter." He didn't quite say he's going to be our starter. We haven't decided on a starter. He literally says he's going to be our starter, and then I shouldn't have said he's going to be our starter, right? And it's like, are they playing draft mind games? Probably not. They're probably just like saying stupid things. I do wonder if this is a. Tepper seems to be. I don't know how Charlotte FC is going. I haven't really paid attention to that. I saw they blew it out game 1 or whatever. And
they're better than Everton.
They are better than Everton. Yeah.
Okay, but like I can't tell if this is a like Tepper problem. Like, oh, we're always going to suck, or Tepper just tapped the wrong dude. Came in, thought he could pick like a smart guy that nobody else was really fond of, instead of going with like. Probably somebody with like the last name Shanahan or Kiffin, like, you know what I mean? Just go with one of those two names in the NFL and just probably a decent start. But so it's I feel like it's too early. It's not too early to like dislike Tepper or to like have a bad taste. I think it's too early to wonder if he's like totally going to continue to screw up or if this is all just a get rid of Matt Rule problem. But
I still think it's funny, like the perception between Tepper and Tom Dundon. Like people still hate Tom Dundon,
right?
They hate him, and they hate the things that he's done to the team. And meanwhile, the team is like one of the top 3 teams in the entire league, the best pro franchise that we've ever had in North Carolina. And people hate the owner, and then I feel like Tepper gets a pass on a lot of things.
I think basketball was the first pro franchise in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, are we going to talk about how all the guys coming back to UNC, and the talk is, well, NIL has completely changed the game. These guys aren't leaving because now they're making money. What about the guys that have stayed for the past 20 years? Like, were they not making money? Because that didn't change, right? NIL's new this year, but the activity is the same. We're not going to talk about that at all.
Are you talking about specifically at UNC or at all schools?
What other schools is that happening at?
I don't know. Who exactly?
What other schools has a top 10 recruit playing as a junior?
Oh, hold on. You can't have it both ways. These guys can't be not good enough for the NBA and only staying because they're getting NIL money. Like if
I never said they weren't good enough for the NBA when they were in high school. they go to UNC. They sit a year on the bench. They get worse.
But who stayed at UNC longer than their draft status would have dictated?
Harrison Barnes.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Okay, here's the thing. Go back to UNC upperclassmen. If they left out of high school, they would have been lottery picks. And then they're playing as juniors in college. Add up the money that they're not making while they're in school, and it's shameful that's happening.
I don't know, but I don't know if I necessarily agree that not going to college is the best thing for you long term business plan wise though. Like I don't, even if
James Michael McAdoo would have been a lottery pick coming out of high school, and then he sat at UNC and then played at UNC and got exposed, and he's been kind of like a waste since then. It's a really good example of that. We won't even make it specific to UNC. Shavlik Randolph is another one of those kids. He could have gone directly to the NBA out of high school and been a top 10 lottery pick, and he just didn't pan out, right? Like there are guys that don't pan out, and there are guys that are good enough to go that don't go, and it's bad for both of them.
No, that's true. Could both of those guys? I don't remember when the rule changed when they stopped allowing high school guys to go. Could those guys both have gone?
No.
Okay. But you mean if it would have been best for them to have gone off their height in high school? Yeah. That's fair. All right. Anything else y'all wanted to hit on? I was going to ask a weird question.
Moose wants to talk about baseball.
Yeah. That's right.
They play baseball.
What?
Moose, what was your Angel?
How many games did y'all win this weekend?
You'll never guess.
3-1. Did you go 3-1?
3-1, baby. Yeah. 3-1.
Yeah.
Lost in the championship, baby.
The Sports Channel theory is every team goes either 2 or
they
3.
lost in the championship, but I guarantee you there's a picture of them holding medals and like a trophy.
I've got some trophy somewhere.
There is.
And also some disclaimer that you played up a division or another team that the team that you lost to was playing down a division and you were playing.
They had
it's all like
every guest players.
Team plays with house money.
They had too many guest players this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, guest players. That's a scam. If we want to talk scams, guest players.
Guest players.
Big
Wait,
scam.
How is it a scam? Hold on. I'm Moose.
Yeah, I want to hear about guest players.
Wasn't your kid a guest player whenever he quit?
Yeah. So typically, in normal circumstances, you'll have tournaments, like not big tournaments, and Swain can maybe back me up on this. And you might have a kid that's hurt or a kid that can't make it for a family thing, whatever. Then you bring in a guest player just so you have a roster of kids that you can send. But then the scam comes with these big national tournaments where they have guest players. And I shit you not, there were 11U ball players flown in from New Jersey, New York, to a team that's based out of Texas. And you end up with a roster of like 18, 19 kids at this fucking tournament. And they don't even know this dude. But he's in there and he's pumping gas. It's like showcase baseball when you're older. Like that happens a lot. These guys, like at that age, high school, junior, senior, sophomore level high school travel tournaments, they don't practice together. They They try out at this big tryout, and they come together for big tournaments, and that's it. It's basically just to swing your dick at these tournaments in front of scouts. That's all it is.
Is there a market out here for us to become like agents?
Yes.
For like the guest players.
Oh my God!
Find the teams.
Can we? We need to start an app called Guest, just GST, Guest, or maybe GSTP, Guest P.
Basically, we're the one. We're like we get a finder's fee for being like, oh, you need a lefty, you need a
100%
a left-handed guy who has some junk, right? Because you know you might be playing a team that you've seen before. They can hit the fastball, like lefty junk. All right, we'll fly you down.
No, here's how you market it. You market it to the parents of the guest player, right? And so you're like, it's not the teams looking for, it's the parents. Like, why are you wasting your time playing for the local team? Pay us $1,000, and we will shop your kid around and find him teams to go play on every weekend at these big showcase events. Pay us to do that, and then we'll get you in as guest players. That's the way you market it.
Yeah, the guest player.
And when I said 1,000, I meant 10,000. You can charge $10,000 a kid for that service.
Yeah, guest players do not pay tournament fees. They don't have to deal with all the bullshit of hanging around, and you don't even need to know the fucking signs. It's just like, just go do your thing. So in your app, you're like, I need a reclassified left-handed pitcher that throws 75 miles an hour from 50 foot. Give me that right now, and they'll make it happen. Guarantee it. It is ridiculous.
Hey, I know that because we're not on the radio doing this stream that we can cuss, but does anybody else feel like Moose just like likes to cuss extensively? More than he does when we talk in person. I feel like everybody else is about the same. Like, you might drop.
I've honestly never heard Moose cuss that much.
This is just out here.
We struck a nerve. We struck a nerve with Moose.
No.
You caught me. You caught me on a sensitive
It's not just today. It's not just today. Moose is definitely out here being like, I can cuss, and I'm going to exercise that right.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Cock balls. Moose
also likes to walk around Main Street in Smithfield with his gun, or with his big rifle. Just I can do this. This is my right.
Come and take it, Brandon.
Yeah,
we're streaming. What are you going to do about it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll finish the guest player deal on this. And Swain, you may or may not agree with this. I think if you win a tournament and your team is 25% or so guest players, then you didn't win anything. Your team didn't win anything. Like you're joking.
Sorry, man. I got that on Facebook, right? I got my championship picture on Facebook. That counts.
Do you as parents, is there like a low-key heckle for guest players?
There's not a low-key heckle, but there's definitely a low-key murmur of like, especially if these other kids aren't playing. It's like, yeah.
Do y'all invite the guest players' parents to like the hotel pool?
They don't even stay at the same hotel, baby. That is.
I feel like you guys would have. So my buddy Doug, I watched him watch his wife play in like some competitive tennis tournament, and like there's just a mastery of like subtle things. Like nobody's out there talking smack, but if you think the guy's made like 2 crummy calls in a row, I can't even remember like what the phrase he's using, like talking to his wife, but clearly it's a reference to the guy that's just like, don't ignore the whatever. It's not even ignore the bad call. It's more subtle than that. And again, it's like a practice thing. I feel like you guys would have something of all right, great to see some new faces out there, guys. All right, good to see you. When I haven't, I don't know. I feel like there'd be some subtle digs on the guest player who's out there just crushing everybody.
I know we got other stuff to touch on, but I want to touch on. I think we're losing some of that culture in sports, right? Like, so yesterday, spring hockey game, my kid gets boarded, right? And so being boarded is when you are hit, when you are away from the boards and you fall, and it's a dangerous play and it's an automatic penalty, whether it's a legal hit or not. So anyway,
it's not you did drugs and you had to go to Woodbury up in Virginia.
That comes later. Okay? Yeah. So the Panthers.
That's a great question. Can the Panthers get guest players?
Yeah. We need our app will help with that.
100%. There's some 19-year-olds that could sling it better than Sam Darnold. Absolutely, yes.
So anyway, my kid gets boarded. The kid that hits him is like arguing the call. And so my kid gets up, skates past him, and like says something to him, and the kid says something back, and they're talking, and they skate away, and that was it. So after the game, I was like, "Hey, what did you tell that dude that hit you?" Because I thought it was gonna be something funny or cool, right? And he goes, "Oh, he just said it wasn't a penalty," and I said, "Yeah, it was." And then he was like, "Okay, yeah, it probably was." Like, no, give me something cooler than that, man. Like, you gotta have that trash talk, and I feel like we're losing that in our culture, and we need to get it back.
I think in general, I'm worried that like hecklers are like fair hecklers are going to be silenced. Like person who's being an idiot, person who's being moose over there, who's using blue language. Like, yes, no, you can't be audibly. I think we had to throw somebody out of a Mudcats game. Somebody said they were doing Muddy and Mini Muddy's autograph, and it's like right behind home plate. And somebody yells, "Son of a bitch!" and like everybody up in the concourse is like, "What?" It was like, maybe get that guy out of here, right?
They threw him out for that.
What's that?
They threw him out for that.
I think maybe it had been going on, but that was the one that like echoed all up to the like somebody had been pointing it out. But then when they heard when that was audible and like all these kids were standing there, it was like maybe
Sometimes I just want to apologize now, Perm. I'm sorry, that was me.
Sometimes they actually ask people to move to another section as opposed to like so not be notably heard on the concourse.
Are protesters ruining hecklers?
Ooh, yeah. So that's actually exactly what had sparked me thinking about it this weekend because up in Minnesota we've had 3 protest attempts, and the last one, I should have brought this video up here. Moose, maybe. Do you know what I'm talking about, Moose?
Mm-mm.
If you can find it, well, hold on. I'll find it real quick here in a second when I stop talking. But actually, a buddy who used to work for the Mudcats now works it up in Minnesota. He's like, dude, we've had crazy meetings. Like any protester should know, like there are not plainclothes security guards everywhere right now around the court, like just watching it because people keep trying to get on there, right? And actually, there's a rumor that the girl that just went on the court and got tackled is the same girl that tried to glue herself to the floor. If you saw that one, she was wearing a wig this time. But yes, I'm worried that like people like that are ruining not only the heckling experience, but just like the cooler we all act, the closer we all get to sit to the court, right? Like, and
we've seen overreaction. We've seen it like where the solution to the protesters coming on the field or the court problem is to put barriers between the fans and the event. And you definitely don't want to go that route. But even, like the fun part of it is there's step 1 is dude yelling at player. Step 2 is dude going after the player. And that's it's a easy line to cross for somebody that
and some like the NBA, some of the best interactions are when the players do finally are like, shut up or like hit the 3 and then stare at the dude that was heckling at them. Like those, I always embrace that, obviously, right? Like players shutting a dude up with his play is again one of the great things in sports.
Have you seen any of the Milwaukee Bucks Grayson Allen booing stuff? Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, so evidently,
I saw he had a good game.
It happened at some point. He was somewhere and he got booed. Right, Grayson Allen gets booed, and he went off. And so his teammates started joking about it, and they would start booing him in practice. And they were like, "If you start booing him, he hits everything. Like he just goes to a different level." And so they've gotten to the point where like he'll walk into the team hotel and they'll boo him going into the team. Like, his own teammates boo him, but it's all a joke to get him because it like makes him play better. It's pretty funny.
Oh wait, are they playing the Bulls in the first round series?
Yeah,
that's the dude who he injured a guy to play. However you interpret it, but so I can understand why the boos are becoming. It's like
it came out the other night. He had like a huge and one basket, and like they cut to the bench, and the entire bench was like,
That's fantastic. It's like some dudes are just great wrestling heels, right? Yeah. And like we boo them and also respect the fact that they are doing their job. Of like, I think that's just maybe that is Grayson Allen's niche, that used to be the joke about Reddick, especially in college, that it was like,
oh yeah,
he seems to get he seems to get better with when you get more mad and more like vitriol at him, right? But like I do like teammates picking up on it and be like, that sounds almost like a 80s or 90s like sitcom plot. Like the kid gets hit in the head, like I don't know, for some reason he like if you boo him now and like it winds him up and it works really well. Like, well, let's just keep doing it. At the end of the episode, he gets hit in the head again and goes away. Like, all right, you can cheer for me. Anything else you guys got on a Monday? All right, I'm gonna close it out. I can show you the Angel. Like I can show you the Angel Hernandez play that everybody's talking about.
Do it. I don't know what he's talking about.
All right.
Here it comes. Called strike 3, and Schwarber is thrown out of the game, and he had zero issue with getting thrown out, making it very clear you've missed him inside, outside, up.
I do respect how much he got out of his ejection. He got a full in there. And I felt like the Brewers pitcher was even a little like, I couldn't see his exact face. I will say this, and I don't know if Major League Baseball puts this out or if this is just somebody that's done the tracking on their own because they put the box there. And now in theory, you can determine what was officially a strike or not a strike. Even though when I was reading of some robot umpired games in Arizona League or whenever they were experimenting with them, like it was not going as well as you thought it might, of just like, hey, if you could just know what's a strike. Like it's just hard with breaking balls and things like that of like exactly what looks like a strike and when across the plate and to get a robotic decision. It's not quite like a tennis line, right? It's floating in the air and it changes per person, so it's harder. But there are people that now track like what a behind the plate umpire's percentage is, and this is exactly what I'm asking for in basketball or football or whatever. We don't need to ask guys to be perfect, but Angel Hernandez, regardless of what you think about that call, Moose obviously thought it was a fine call. He had the lowest percentage on that day of any ump of balls and strikes he got right. Like he was at 85% and everybody else is in, 90, 91, whatever it is. Find the average. It doesn't have to be 100. And if umps are hitting that or better, we can say, even if you miss this call in the bottom of the ninth or whatever, you're okay. But when you were the worst and then your call mattered at the end, it needs to be taken severely into your how we decide who decides games, not how long you've been and how well your name is known or whatever. That's all I ask for in college hoops or wherever. Like I trust managers to know the rules better. Sometimes on Twitter, even in here, like we're arguing about what the rules are, and we don't actually know everything 100% how to interpret these rules because a lot of times we're reading them for the first time because it's a play we've never seen before, right? I'm fine with the decision makers saying after the game, that was a right call or that was a wrong call. But tell us what percentage they got right and what percentage we should expect to get right of a normal basketball game. So that was the one thing that I did take away from that Angel Hernandez stuff was not only did that call suck, he sucked overall, and we can measure it, and that's all we can ask for. And there are other dudes that didn't do perfect, but they call it a 94% game or whatever, and it's like, boom. That more.
So you're still mad about the Baylor game, basically.
No, I'm not. I will also say, I don't know. I don't know if they're doing. They're putting new implement. Putting new implements. They're implementing new things in baseball that are supposed to speed up the clock. I don't know what they've now have at the Bulls. I know at Mudcats, obviously, we still have like extra innings. You start with a guy on second base. We have a pitch clock for the first time this year in between pitches and in between like innings and stuff. And dude, like we had the equivalent of like getting a delay of game call, coming out of a timeout. Dude got a strike called against him for not coming to the bat fast enough, and he's a designated hitter, so he wasn't even like coming off the field the inning before. And he started the at bat with a strike. And there's a couple times where pitchers got balls. And just like stuff's moving. Like it's an interesting experience. The games have been on average a little bit faster, but like you still can't stop anything. Like the Mudcats gave up like 9 runs in the top of the ninth, and then whatever. You still can't stop baseball being long sometimes, but it's been interesting to see them trying to speed things up, and I'm curious to see how high that.
You put a clock on it, and whoever's winning at the end of 2 hours wins the game. That's the.
It's not a terrible idea. It might change how guys just try and instead of trying to hit homers or strikeouts, you just try and keep the ball in play as long as possible, as long as you got a lead. We are on Sundays. We're always like, look, whoever scores first, the other team needs to like recognize and just lay down, right? Like it's hot, it's afternoon, and the sooner you finish, your week's done and you get your actual weekend. Like, why are you guys seriously, the Mudcats gave up like 9 runs at the top of the ninth, and then they scored 5 in the bottom of the ninth when they're down 12. You're like, what are you doing? You're eating into your own vacation time. Cut it out. take strikes, and go home. Anyway, all right, for the Weather Moose, Josh Goodson, Ben Swain, and my man Caleb Love, Sports Channel 8, we're out.
Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it